At my son's funeral, my ex-husband spit on the casket. It made a soft sound, wet, final. He whispered he'd still be alive if he lived with me. My family nodded, my mother, my brother, even my father, who hadn't spoken to him in years. I didn't speak. I couldn't. My body folded in on itself like paper burned to ash. Tommy's name was etched into the wood in gold. 7 letters, a lifetime. Then my daughter, Lily, 7 years old, stood beside me. Her black dress hung too loose. Her hands trembled, but her voice didn't. "Daddy," she said. Every head turned. "Should I tell everyone what you did to Tommy the night before he died?" The air left the room. Even the priest froze mid-prayer. My ex-husband blinked. Once, twice. His jaw flexed. And in that silence, in that perfect silence, I felt something inside me snap back into place. It started 3 months earlier. Tommy had come home from his father's house with bruises on his arms. Purple rings like fingerprints. He said it was roughhousing, said Dad was teaching him to be a man. I wanted to believe him. I needed to, because believing the truth would mean admitting I'd failed to protect him. Then came the nosebleeds, the headaches, the quiet tears behind closed doors. He stopped drawing, stopped laughing, stopped looking me in the eyes. I asked my ex about it. He smiled that same cold smile I used to love. "Boys toughen up," he said. "You coddle him too much." I told myself he was right, that I was overreacting, that joint custody meant compromise. But when Tommy stopped wanting to go to his father's altogether, I saw the fear behind his excuses, the shaking hands, the quick glance toward the door, as if someone was listening. The night before he died, he had called me from his room. His voice was small. He said, "Mom, if something happens, promise you'll believe me." I laughed, told him not to say strange things, told him to get some sleep, and I hung up. The next morning, the police said it was an accident. He fell. But Lily didn't cry. She just stared at her father like she already knew something I didn't. After the funeral arrangements were made, I began to collect things. Tommy's tablet, his phone, the small notebook he kept under his pillow. In the tablet's voice recordings, I found silence. Then faint whispers, crying. His father's voice, low, angry, slurred. I couldn't make out words, but I could hear fear. I sent the audio to a forensic technician I knew from my old job at the DA's office. She cleaned it up, enhanced it. When she called me back, her voice was shaking. "You need to come in." I didn't, not yet. Instead, I watched. I visited my ex's house under the guise of returning Tommy's clothes. Watched how he looked at Lily, the way his smile tightened when she spoke too loudly. He was careful now, too careful. He offered me coffee, made small talk about grief and forgiveness. His eyes lingered on my trembling hands, reading me like an opponent across a chessboard. But he didn't know I had already started moving pieces. I met with Tommy's therapist, with his teachers. I asked quiet questions. Patterns emerged: withdrawal, fatigue, a sudden fear of loud voices. The night before the coroner's final report, I found a video on Tommy's tablet I hadn't seen before. A short clip. Lily's voice, whispering, "Stop it, Daddy, please." Then a loud thud, a cry, a scream, the sound of something shattering. The screen went black. The next day, I sat in the coroner's office. He closed the file gently, as if the pages could feel pain. "Your son's injuries," he said, "weren't consistent with a fall." He slid a photo toward me. Bruises in the shape of hands, fading, overlapping. I didn't cry, didn't speak, just listened as the hum of the air conditioner filled the silence between us. When I left, I didn't drive home. I drove to my ex-husband's house. He was sitting on the porch, cigarette between his fingers, pretending to mourn. I handed him the small envelope. He smiled. "What's this, another lawyer's threat?" I said nothing. Inside was the USB drive. The one with the audio, the video, the report. He looked confused, then pressed play on his phone. Tommy's voice filled the air. The sounds of struggle. Lily's terrified cries. His cigarette fell. His face drained of color. He looked at me, horror dawning slow, like the realization of a man who finally sees himself without the mask. You can't prove." "I don't need to," I said quietly, "because I already had. I didn't take the evidence to the police. Not yet. That would come later. First, I let him feel the weight of what was coming. At the funeral, when he spat on the casket, I watched him bury himself. Every cruel word, every twisted smirk, every accusation. Then Lily spoke. "Daddy," she said, "should I tell everyone what you did to Tommy the night before he died?" He froze. The priest lowered his Bible. My father stood. Whispers rippled through the crowd like wind through dry leaves. He reached for her. "Lily, stop!" She stepped back. "You hit him. You made him fall." The words echoed against the stained glass. And then I saw it. The shift. The mask breaking. His grief twisted into panic. I didn't comfort him, didn't stop her. I simply looked at him. Calm, empty, unblinking. The police were waiting outside. The trial took months. The evidence was undeniable. They called it manslaughter. I called it something else. Justice. Lily sleeps through the night now. Sometimes she asks if Tommy can see her. I tell her yes, that he's finally safe. I walk past the cemetery every Sunday. I don't bring flowers, he never liked them. I just stand there, let the wind move through me, and listen. The silence doesn't hurt anymore. It reminds me that the smallest voice in the room was the one that saved us all. Final line, and for the first time since Tommy died, I finally believed him.